If you're a UK pensioner with more than £16,000 in savings, the DWP can now look at data from your bank account without asking you first. That's real. It started rolling out this year, and one of these 6 rules is the exact opposite of what most people believe. Stay with me right to number 6. Number 1. The £16,000 line, and why almost everyone reads it wrong. This is the figure the headlines shout about, but nobody explains it properly. £16,000 is the upper savings limit for universal credit, and for savings credit, the older part of pension credit for people who reached state pension age before April 2016. Cross that limit on those benefits, and your entitlement can stop completely. But here is the part that catches people out. The main guarantee credit part of pension credit has no upper savings limit at all. You can hold £20,000, £30,000, even £40,000 and still qualify. What changes is your assumed income. The DWP ignores every single penny under £10,000. Above £10,000, it adds £1 a week of what it calls tariff income for every £500, or part of £500, that you hold, whether or not you actually earn a penny of interest. So £12,000 in the bank counts as £4 a week of income, and nothing more. Even £30,000 only adds £40 a week of assumed income, not a wall, a slope. A woman called Sandra had £14,000 saved, assumed she was miles over the limit, and never claimed. She was wrong. Guarantee credit tops a single person up to £227.10 a week, and she qualified. She was owed pension credit for 3 years running, close to £11,000 she never had to pay back. Plus, the free TV license and council tax helped that ride along with it. The mistake is treating £16,000 as a hard wall for every benefit. It isn't. Find out which benefit you're actually on before you panic about that number. Number 2. What the DWP can genuinely see, and what it cannot. The new power comes from the Public Authorities Fraud, Error and Recovery Act, which got royal assent on the 2nd of December 2025, and is rolling out across this year. It is built around something called eligibility verification, and the scare stories get it badly wrong. The DWP does not get to read your statements line by line. It cannot see that you spent £40 at the supermarket, or sent £50 to a grandchild, or bought a birthday present. Instead, banks are ordered to run their own automated check and flag only the accounts of people claiming certain benefits, whose balance appears to break an eligibility rule. For example, savings sitting above the limit. The bank sends the DWP a flag and a small amount of data, not your history, not your spending. A human caseworker then reviews that flag before anything at all happens. So a single flag is not an accusation, it is a prompt for a closer look, nothing more. The Office for Budget Responsibility expects this to recover around £940 million over 5 years, which tells you how wide the rollout goes. Here is the practical lesson. Take Margaret, who kept £18,000 in an ISA she'd declared years ago. Her account was flagged, a caseworker matched it against her file in minutes, and she never heard another word. If your paperwork matches your balance, a flag goes precisely nowhere. Trouble only begins when your bank shows savings you never told the DWP about. Keep those 2 numbers in agreement, and this entire power has nothing to catch. Number 3. The power that frightens people most. Money taken straight from your account. The same act gives the DWP a new tool called a Direct Deduction Order. If it confirms you were genuinely overpaid, not merely flagged but confirmed after a proper review, it can instruct your bank to take that money directly from your account to repay the debt, without going through a court first. That sounds alarming, so learn the guardrails, because they matter. It applies to confirmed overpayments, never to suspicions. The DWP must consider what you can afford, and is not allowed to leave you unable to pay for essentials. It is meant to take a fair amount, not empty your account. And an independent reviewer now reports to Parliament every single year on how these powers are being used. Derek, a 70-year-old, ignored 3 letters about a £2,400 pension credit overpayment because he assumed it would simply go away. Had he replied, he could have settled it at £10 a week. Instead, the debt was confirmed by default, and unanswered debts are exactly what these orders are built to collect. The costly mistake here is silence. If you ever receive a letter saying you have been overpaid and you disagree, you have 1 month to ask for a mandatory reconsideration, and you can request that any deductions be set at a level you can genuinely afford. Never ignore that letter. That one behavior is what turns a fixable query into money leaving your account. And keep number 6 in mind, because it flips this whole panic on its head. Number 4. The quiet mistake behind most overpayments: not reporting a change in your savings. Most pensioners flagged by this system are not fraudsters. They are people whose savings simply crept up. An inheritance, the sale of a car, a lump sum from a pension, or just years of careful budgeting nudging them past £10,000. The rules say you must report a change in your capital. And for pension credit, the numbers that matter are 10,000, where tariff income begins, and 16,000 for savings credit. Brian inherited £11,000 when his brother died, and never thought to tell the DWP, because in his mind he wasn't claiming anything new. 2 years later, the bank data flagged it, and he owed back nearly £2,000, money he would have kept entirely if he had simply reported the change and had his pension credit adjusted at the time. That £11,000 should only have reduced his weekly credit by £2. Instead, it cost him a 4-figure bill. The fix is almost insultingly simple. Whenever a lump sum lands or your total savings cross £10,000 or £16,000, tell the pension service on the free number 0800 99 99 1234. You can do it by phone in one call. Reporting a change is not admitting you did something wrong. It protects you, because a claim that is adjusted in real time can never become an overpayment later. The people who get hurt are the ones who assume the DWP already knows. It didn't until this year. Now it can find out, so make sure you tell it first. Number 5. The check to run this week before any letter arrives. Start by adding up your actual capital, every current account, every savings account, every ISA, and any premium bonds. But not the home you live in, and not your personal or workplace pension pot, because those sit outside these powers entirely. Write it down as one single number. If it's under £10,000 and you're on pension credit, you have nothing to do. Your savings don't affect the award at all. If it's between £10,000 and £16,000, check that the tariff income the DWP is using actually matches your real balance. If it looks out of date, ring the pension service and update it. Joan did exactly this. Spotted the DWP still had her down for £19,000 after she'd spent £8 on a new boiler, corrected it in one call, and her weekly credit rose by £16. If you're above £16,000 and claiming universal credit or savings credit, get free advice from Age UK on 0800 678 1602 or Citizens Advice before you touch anything, because the right move depends entirely on your own situation. Then keep simple records, a note of any lump sum when it arrived, and the date you reported it. That one habit is your defense against every part of this system. And if you've never claimed pension credit because you assumed savings ruled you out, use the calculator on Gov.uk today, because around £1.4 billion of pension credit goes unclaimed every year by people who were eligible the whole time. One number, one phone call, one afternoon. That's the entire task. Number 6. The one almost everybody gets completely backwards. The headlines say the DWP can now check pensioners' bank accounts, and people hear one thing: they're watching all of us. They are not. If your only income is the state pension, the basic or the new state pension, worth up to £230.25 a week, with nothing else that's means tested, you are not in scope of these checks at all. The eligibility verification power applies only to means tested benefits, pension credit, universal credit, and employment and support allowance. The state pension is not means tested, it isn't affected by your savings, and it is specifically excluded from these powers, along with your private and workplace pensions. So take Arthur, on the full new state pension, and £40,000 from a house sale. Not a penny of it is any business of these checks, yet he spent weeks afraid to touch his own money. A huge number of frightened pensioners are losing sleep over a rule that will never touch them, while some who genuinely should check, people on pension credit with rising savings, assume it's all about somebody else. Get it the right way round. The real question is never simply, am I a pensioner? It's, am I claiming a means-tested benefit? If yes, run the check in number 5. If no, you can breathe out. But pass this on to the friend who's been panicking over a headline, because right now the fear is doing far more damage than the rule ever will. So here is your one step this week. Add up your savings, and if you're on a means-tested benefit, make sure the DWP's figure matches your real balance. One phone call closes every gap this system is built to find. If this cleared things up, subscribe and share it with someone who's worried. The people who understand these rules in time are the ones who keep their money.